Welcome to my Same But Different Christmas card series, and today I've got some penny black elves to colour and share with you. Hi, it's Therese from Lost in Paper, and I am so excited to be back with the Gimme 5 video today, and even more excited because it's the beginning of my 2019 Christmas card series. And I wanted to do something a little bit different today. I wanted to share with you a couple of different styles of colouring the same images. So I've already stamped out these two elves in some tuxedo black on some white Nina. It's 80-pound white. I find that the 80-pound works really well for me. It doesn't bleed too much. The colour doesn't bleed too much. I struggle with the 110-pound with the Copics. I find it's too thick and it takes up too much colour and takes too much time to blend. And I thought it'd be really fun if I coloured both these images in the same colours, and then you can have a look and compare the differences, because in the end, to me, they looked very similar, but to colour them is quite different. I find I'm a lot faster when I'm colouring with my Copics compared to pencils. So if you're time pushed, then I would certainly be heading for an alcohol marker over some pencils, because the shading and the layering of pencils does take a lot more time. But the overall look, I thought, was very similar. Though I did change it up. I did one on the white card base, so that's the Copic ones here. I'm actually colouring on white card bases, and the pencils I did on a coloured cardstock. So this sweet little image here is called Bauble Balance, and this is a mini set from Penny Black. And the other image, the other elf that I started, I was going to go back and forth and colour them same colours, and I decided to actually change up the colours for both the elves, so I didn't end up doing that. But the other elf was from a set called Beaming, and that's another mini set as well. So they're really cute images and really fun to colour as well. Like with any colouring, I find the more I colour an image, the easier it gets. So by the time I've finished colouring these 5 cards today, I'm feeling really confident with these images and really enjoying colouring them. This is the first time that I've coloured these baubles, and I don't know, if you're anything like me, I struggle colouring spherical things like balloons and baubles, but I wanted to make them nice and bright, so I did take my time. I did layer up the colours. I added some shading away from the edge, you know, with the dark colour like you can, just to make it look more spherical. I wasn't really happy with how these particular baubles ended up, but I definitely think that I improved over the time that I coloured this image. So I've got all the caps of the colours off to the side, and what I found was easier because on both the images I actually repeated the colours. It meant that I didn't have to think too much about what I was colouring here. You'll notice that certain things I leave uncoloured, and that's because I usually haven't decided what colour I'm going to colour them yet, but then I usually do come in and shade with a grey like I am doing here. And this is a great trick if you don't have every Copic colour and you just want to come in and add some simple shadow or shading. The T2 would have to be my favourite for most of the images, but I use the BV20 on the face to add some shading because it has that purple tone about it. And I did decide to go with green on this bauble. You might have noticed it was a bit lacking. Of course, I'll link the blog post below where you can actually find a full list of all the colours, just in case you miss any along the way, and also you can see all the still pics, which are going to show much more detail than what I could possibly show in a short video of colouring. Colouring takes time. I have to speed it up quite a bit and edit out some, so if you do miss anything, you can head to the blog post and check it out there. So this is the same image. I'm colouring this with my Prismacolor pencils, and I have used some Desert Storm cardstock here. So this is kind of like a craft cardstock, or it has that craft kind of look about it, but it is a little bit different, and it's really beautiful to colour on. I've stamped it out with some Onyx Black ink and just let it dry for a little bit before I stamped. And this time I've moved my image off to the left of the panel. So this is a panel that's going to go on the front of my card, and the other image you might have noticed I had on a piece of cardstock, it was off to the opposite side. Because he's walking with the baubles, I just thought it'd be fun to have him sort of from the other angle. So you can do this either way, and it just gives this image a little bit of a different look when you haven't got the whole image stamped on your card front. When I colour with my pencils on coloured cardstock, I usually don't come in with a product like Gamsol. I don't usually like to blend it out. I find I really like the results of just blending with the colours themselves. So the pencils, I'm using the pencils on coming back and forth between the dark and the light, and actually blending out the pencils, blending out the colour with the pencils themselves. And here you might notice I'm using a pencil extender. This is a really good tool if your pencils are getting quite short. It gives you a little bit more life for your pencils. I highly recommend it. When I'm using the coloured cardstock as well, I like to, when I want to add a really light colour, like for the face, I'm using the peaches on the face. What I've done is add a layer of white pencil on the base before I've added the colour to the face. I also use the white to add highlights to the image as I'm colouring, because you might have noticed in the Copic I left some of the areas white, and that gives it a bit of a highlight. I just used the white paper that was at the back to do that. Or you can actually use a white gel pen to add some highlights if you're not confident to leave the white gaps. But because there's no white on the dark cardstock, on the coloured cardstock, I need to add that in, and to do that I just use the white pencil. And it gives a really nice little highlight to the image. And it was really easy. Like I said, this is the same colours as I coloured the other one, so there was really no thinking involved with the colour choices here. I just pretty much copied the other one I'd already done. So I don't think I'd be this happy if I was tangled up in the Christmas lights. But this little fella is. He's from the set Beaming, and I kept the same layout on this piece of cardstock. So this is another piece of Nina, 80 £, and it's cut to the same size as the front of my card. These are going to be all fairly clean and simple cards today. And did change up the stripy colour of him, otherwise it's pretty much the same kind of colouring. So like I said, this is part of my Same But Different Christmas card series that I have every year, and what's so wonderful about this is that it's how I started on the Give Me 5 series for Penny Black. When Jill approached me with the idea to do a Same But Different series for Penny Black, I was so excited, and this has been such a fun journey for me. I just want to say a big thank you to Jill and to Penny Black for the opportunity and for the fun, because I love colouring and I love sharing it too. So I hope you are enjoying the series, and I hope you also enjoy my Christmas series this year. So the different layout I've used here for this little fella is I've actually put him in the centre of the panel, and I'm colouring him exactly the same as I did the other on the Desert Storm. And I've got the cardstock bigger than what I need at the moment, because I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I do know I'm going to pop this up on the centre of the card front, but I haven't decided on my sentiments at this point, so it just gives me options down the track. What I also did was, as well as adding the highlights with the white pencil, I do come in and add shading with either a dark grey or a black. I think I used the black pencil on the other. It's not too scary, believe me. Everyone thinks like that it's just going to be too dark on the image, but it's hard to tell here. But I'm not pushing heavy on the pencils. I'm actually colouring very lightly, so as long as you don't push too hard, you can always add more. And the good thing about pencils is they are quite forgiving, because you can come in with an eraser if you do get too heavy-handed, and then colour again over top if you need to. So I'm going to start putting these cards together now, and I've added a sentiment. This one's actually from the set Beaming, which I thought worked really well. And like I said, I wasn't really happy with these baubles, so I did add some glitter to them to kind of disguise them. The same image, I did pop this one up and put it in the centre of my top fold card, and I've added a die cut Joy sentiment from the Merry and Joy die set, and adhered that with some liquid glue. The Beaming image, I changed up where the sentiment sat on this card and just had it beside the actual image, and added some sparkles to the lights, and that stamp was from the Thrill of Hope set. So I'm using the Merry Builder here to add the word everything before I put my card together, and then I'm just going to add this die cut Merry, and that's from the Bright die set, and I'm just adhering all my letters with the liquid glue again. So I kept all of my cards very simple, changed them all up by placement, sentiments, and the kind of colouring that I did. My last card's a little bit different though. I decided just to do some highlight colouring, and I want to join the two images together. So to do that, I do need to actually do some masking, so some selective masking here, and I stamped out both of the images with my Misty. And did you see that? I got ink on my finger. It took me a few minutes to work out it was on my little finger, and I didn't want to start again. So anyway, I decided just to keep persevering. I don't know why I didn't want to start again. I'd only stamped it twice. I could have easily have started again, but I didn't want to waste it. So what I did this time was colouring with my Prismacolor pencils on the white cardstock. So I do this very similar to the way that I did it on the coloured cardstock, except I like to use Gamsol, generally speaking. I add my colours first, so I've actually added 3 different colours to the bauble before I've come in with my Gamsol, and then I just work my way around the bauble with the Gamsol and the blending stump, and then I like to come in and add some more colours after, because I find the Gamsol and the blending stump kind of lift away some of the colour, and I don't want to lose any of that depth. So to make life easy, I'm actually using the same colours that I used in the other cards that I made, so that means less thinking, which is always a good thing, and more colouring and more fun. I got a bit carried away on this particular bauble and actually added too much colour. I lost my highlights, so I used an eraser just to rub away some of that pencil. And like I said, I will list all of these colours that I've used today over at my blog. I can't show you the pencil colours that I use on screen, and they have really funny names as well. I don't know why they do that, but anyway, I kind of went a little bit off screen here, and it took me a while to work out that I did go off screen here, but I did in the end. I have not coloured any of the elves in this actual panel. I've only coloured the baubles and the fairy lights. So, oh look, I worked it out. Took a while. And then to add a bit of shading, I did come in with a dark grey pencil, and I think that just helps when you've only coloured such a small amount within an image. You do need to have that shading. I think it just adds something a little bit more. And then pop this up on the front of a landscape card, added a sentiment from the Merry Builder set, which is awesome by the way, and covered up my boo-boo with some droplets. Thanks for watching, and remember there are lots of ways you can connect with Penny Black. Don't forget to like the video today and subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as visit Penny Black on Facebook, Instagram, and check out their blog and website. I've linked all of those in the description box below, and also a link to my personal blog where you can find a list of all the exact products that I've used today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Gimme 5, same but different cards with Penny Black, and I look forward to seeing you here again next time. Bye!